All right, let's kick off another Spinner Wheel TBR video. Are you guys ready to see what books are gonna be on the list for me to read in June? And we're gonna do it just a little bit differently this month. So sit down, grab a fun drink, and let's get into it. This is Books with Brushu. I'm Jordan. I like to drink coffee and read books. Today I've got my handy dandy water in my fun pink Yeti cup. It is evening time. The sun is starting to go down. That's why it's a little bit dark in here, and I really only have the overhead lights because the sun is shining right into the window, kind of in my face. So I've got the blind shut a little bit, but let's go ahead and see what books I'm going to be reading in June. I'm going to do things a little bit differently this month. So the audiobook spins still going to be the same. We're still going to do the 4 audiobook spins, no change there. However, I wouldn't say recently realized, it's kind of been honestly stressing me out, and reading shouldn't be stressful. It should be enjoyable and fun. And it's been stressing me out a little bit that I am in the middle of so many series. I have a list on Goodreads of the books and series that I need to finish. If I've started a series, all the subsequent series, or all the subsequent books in that series I put in this list, and currently there are 119 books on that list. And it is causing me a little bit of anxiety. And also, because that number is so high, I'm not really letting myself start new series. There are a ton of series that I want to start, but since I'm in the middle of so many, I want to finish those first before I start to read new series. It's limiting me a little bit there too. So what I'm going to do is I've created a new spinner wheel, and it has a bunch of the books in series that I'm in right now. It's got a couple of other fun things like read a summer book, read a book club book, because I rarely get to read book clubs that I'm in on Fable Pick because I have so many others on my TBR. So that's on there too. I've got a couple of arcs for the month of June that are also on here, as well as the series that I'm in the middle of. That is the wheel that I will be spinning 6 times. So we're not going to do a mug pick. We're just going to spin that new wheel 6 times to pick the books that I'm going to read for the month. So hopefully that will help ease some of my anxiety so that I can read some books in series and just kind of like take a deep breath and refresh myself a little bit. So as always, there are a couple of required books that are already on the TBR, and we'll see if they get picked. The first is book number 5 in the K. Scarpetta series, and that is The Body Farm by Patricia Cornwell. June will be the last month that I am specifically reading this completed series. For the month of July, I will be picking a new series to start and do for my completed series challenge. But 5 books in this series, and then the rest of the books, or you know, however many I feel like reading, because there are like 30 books in this series, are on, again, my series to finish list. I think I have the first like 10 or 12 on that list. So anyways, so many tangents today. Body Farm is on the TBR no matter what. Then I am still working on my reread of ACOTAR, and this month is A Court of Wings and Ruin, which is the 3rd book. This one is quite a bit chunkier than the other 2. This is definitely on the list. We'll see if the spinner wheel picks it, because obviously these 2 books are books in series, so they are on the list, or on the spinner wheel. So we'll see, but I cannot wait to get to this book. I absolutely loved book 2. Obviously, I mean, I've read them before, but I just am super eager to read this book because this is my favorite book in the series. Court of Wings and Ruin on the list. My back is sore from the gym today, from the gym this morning. Ugh, and my triceps are sore too, and my shirt's too small. Anyway, okay, let's kick off with our 4 audiobook spins and see which books we get to add to the audiobook TBR. So let's go. And we get a library pick. Super easy. No problems here. I already know which book I'm gonna pick. I will pick book 6 in the Fun for the Holidays series by Jay Sterling. Now, again, if you haven't been here, this is a series that I started in January, and it's a series of short romance novellas, and there's one for every month. They're usually themed around the holiday or the season for that month. June's is Don't Marry Him, so seems like it will be a wedding themed novella for the month of June. Don't Marry Him will be our library pick, and that is our first audiobook for the month. Okay, spin 2. Let's see what we get. Ready and go. Okay. Oh! We get a series pick. That is perfect for this month. That could not be more apt for this month. So let's get the normal series spinner wheel out and see what book we get for a series. That makes me so happy. That makes me so happy. Okay, let's see what series I'm going to be listening to. And we get, the Thoughtless series. Okay, the Thoughtless series is by S.E. Stevens. It was originally a trilogy, and then she wrote a couple more books. I know I've read book 4, which is in the main male character's point of view. And then book 5, which is the one that I'm on, which is called Untamed, is actually from Griffin's point of view, who is the drummer for the band. This is a rock star romance. And let me just say, the original 3 books, the original trilogy, are some of my absolute favorite books. Like, Kel and Kyle is still one of the best book boyfriends out there. So I highly, highly recommend at least the first 3 books. If you're gonna read any, read the first 3 books. They're so amazing. They're still to this day some of my favorites. Book 5, Untamed, is about Griffin, who is the drummer in the band, and I never loved his character. So it's probably a good thing that I have this as an audiobook. It will help me get through it instead of physically reading it. So that does help me out a little bit. We've got Don't Marry Him, and we've got Untamed for 2 audiobooks so far. Let's do our 3rd audiobook spin. What's it gonna be? Oh, a Read Across America book. Okay, we're just getting all of the extra spins today. Okay, Read Across America book. This was a list that I found. It was actually on Instagram. Goodreads put out a list of books that took place in each state. So I've created a wheel with all of the states on it, and whatever state it lands on, I then read that book. Let's go ahead and go over to that wheel and see which state gets picked to see which book I read. So let's spin. And we get, West Virginia. Okay, that's interesting. West Virginia. All right, let me get on and find that post and see which book I'm going to be reading. The book for West Virginia is Shiner by Amy Jo Burns. Never heard of this book. It was written in, 2020, so not that long ago. Let's read this Goodreads synopsis. On a lush mountaintop, trapped in time, 2 women vow to protect each other at all costs, and one young girl must defy her father to survive. An hour from the closest West Virginia mining town, 15-year-old Wren Bird lives in a cloistered mountain cabin with her parents. They have no car, no mailbox, and no visitors, except for her mother's lifelong best friend. Every Sunday, Wren's father delivers winding sermons in an abandoned gas station where he takes up serpents and praises the Lord for his blighted white eye, proof of divinity and key to the hold he has over the community, over Wren and her mother. But over the course of one summer, a miracle performed by Wren's father quickly turns to tragedy. As the order of her world begins to shatter, Wren must uncover the truth of her father's mysterious legend and her mother's harrowing history and a complex bond with her best friend. And, this is so many ands in a row, and with the newfound knowledge, Wren can imagine a different future for herself than she has been told to expect. Rich with epic love and epic loss, and diving deep into a world that is often forgotten but still part of America. Shiner reveals the hidden story behind 2 generations worth of Appalachian heartbreak and resolve. Shiner, book 3 on our audiobook TBR. 4th and final audiobook. Let's see what it is. Okay, last audiobook. What's it gonna be? Sun is also a star. Sun is also a star. So this book I actually put on my list because one of my good friends who I used to work with, but she left me. One of my good friends I used to work with, she said this book was so good, so I added it to my list, and now it's on the TBR. However, I don't remember what it's about, and it was very popular a couple of years ago when it first came out. Natasha, I'm a girl who believes in science and facts, not fate, not destiny, or dreams that will never come true. I'm definitely not the kind of girl who meets a cute boy on a crowded New York City street and falls in love with him. Not when my family is 12 hours away from being deported to Jamaica. Falling in love with him won't be my story. Daniel, I've always been the good son, the good student, living up to my parents' high expectations. Never the poet or the dreamer. But when I see her, I forget all of that. Something about Natasha makes me think that fate has something much more extraordinary in store for both of us. The universe. Every moment in our lives has brought us to this single moment. A million futures lie before us. Which one will come true? That sounds really cute. Sun is also a star. Last book on the audiobook TBR. I'm fading fast, y'all. I woke up at like 4:30 this morning to go to the gym and then go to work. So I am pretty exhausted. Let's bring up this new wheel that I've created. As you can see, it's got series on it. Let's do the first spin to see which series I will be continuing. It's really a load off my chest doing it this way. It's helping me out. We almost got Language of Dragons. Okay, but we get Wait for It, which I believe is a Mariana Zapata. I think. This isn't a series necessarily. So Culty by Mariana Zapata, which I read a couple of months ago. The main female character in Wait for It, I believe, is the cousin of the main female character in Culty. They're loosely related to each other. So that's why I put it on my series to finish list, because they're kind of related to each other. If anyone has ever said being an adult was easy, they hadn't been one long enough. Diana Casillas can admit it. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing half the time. How she's made it through the last 2 years of her life without killing one is nothing short of a miracle. Being a grown-up wasn't supposed to be so hard. With a new house, 2 little boys she inherited the most painful way possible. A giant dog, a job she usually loves, more than enough family and friends. She has almost everything she could ask for, except for a boyfriend or a husband. But who needs either one of those? I can kind of relate. Wait for it is the first book on the TBR for June. I did really, really enjoy Colty. Like, I liked it so, so much. Spin number 2. What's it gonna be? Ugh, Fallen Crest. Ugh. Fallen Crest. I have 2 books left in the Fallen Crest universe. The one that I'm on is about one of the Brudeau brothers. I think it's called Anti-Hero, if I am remembering correctly. Yes, My Anti-Hero. It's about Brett, Brett Brudeau. I shouldn't have agreed to this. What was I thinking? Appearing on a local news show? Just because something happened to me? I live mostly in isolation on purpose, but here I am. I was so nervous that I needed the makeup chair twice. And then I walked past his room. He's a giant. No softness, all muscle. And a rich beard that made me want to rub myself all over it. He made me see stars, literally, because the second time I saw him, I tripped. Or I would have, but he caught me and the cameras were rolling. Soon that clip will be trending because he wasn't just another guest on the show. He is Brett Brudeau, the King's newest football star. We couldn't be more opposite. The only special thing about me is the reason I was on the show. Brett, the Super Bowl champion, and me, the survivor who helped bring down the infamous Midwest Butcher. Brett might not think he's anyone's hero, but he's about to become mine. Brett was one of the bad guys in the original Fallen Crest series. So we've got, wait for it, and My Anti-Hero. Let's see what book number 3 is gonna be. Ready? Go. What's it gonna be? Oh, Bristol Keats. I actually just ordered the second book in this duology. So it's The Last Wish of Bristol Keats, which is the second one in that duology. I read The Courting of Bristol Keats a couple of months ago, and I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. It is about Bristol, who has 2 sisters, one older and one younger, and her parents both mysteriously die. They leave the 3 girls alone with the house, basically destitute. So they're having to work and support themselves and everything. And they're just really devastated, obviously, by the loss of both of their parents and just trying to exist in this day-to-day life. Well, then one day, Bristol mysteriously receives a letter from this long-lost aunt saying that, hey, I'm your long-lost aunt. Please come meet me here. I've got some art that I can give to you so you can sell it and support your family. And Bristol's like, you know what, you crazy lady, I don't know who you are. I'm not falling for your schemes. Well, eventually she gets desperate enough that she does go to meet this quote aunt. Well, obviously she's not an aunt, and Bristol falls into this fairy realm and gets entangled in all of these different problems and issues and things that are happening there, while also trying to protect her sisters. So this continues on with that story. It did leave off on a pretty big cliffhanger, so I am excited to continue Bristol Keats. And that will wrap up that duology for me, so that's nice. So that was spin 3. Let's do spin number 4. These go fast because I'm not having to switch back and forth between any of the wheels. It's just this one. Okay, spin number 4. Let's see what we get. Oh, it landed on Bristol Keats again. I guess I should be taking these off, but I haven't been. Okay, let's try that again. K. Scarpetta? Hey, I can work with that. I can work with that. Book number 4 will be The Body Farm by Patricia Cornwell. That's nice because it was already on the list. So that helps me out tremendously. Okay, let's remove some of these slices. I went ahead and removed those slices. That's why it now says Light Lark, because I removed the slice that it was on, so it just defaulted to the next one, which I wish it would pick Light Lark. That would be cool. Spin number 5. Spin 5, let's see what we get. Okay, Once Upon a Demon's Heart. That is one of the arcs for this month, so I am thankful that it picked that. It's one of the arcs I have for this month. Once Upon a Demon's Heart. That is by K.M. Moranova. It is the first book in the Cruel Fates series. Book 2 comes out in August. This is no fairy tale. It's yearning and guilt of two burdened hearts that will leave the reader breathless. Alira, a devoted demigod knight, has found herself trapped in the throes of a brutal curse. A time loop in which the demon kingdom's blood knight kills her every time. She is haunted by the attack she led on the innocent village of Thornhall, and her guilt consumes her from the inside out. After the 20th time loop, she has finally had enough. Something has to change, lest she die at the blood knight's hand for the rest of time. A choice she hopes she won't regret, one to end the war between demigods and demons. Sounds pretty interesting. Once Upon a Demon's Heart by K.M. Moranova. Let's do our 6th and final spin. Here we go. What's the last book gonna be? Crimson Ridge. Crimson Ridge. Okay, I did love the first book immensely. Immensely. Let me grab the second book. Book 2, Braving the Storm by Elliot Rose. And I have this really pretty sprayed edge edition with these redesigned covers since being trad published. And this beautiful character art. These are kind of like forbidden love, taboo romance stories. So let's read a little bit about Braving the Storm. In this sizzling forbidden love cowboy romance, a woman flees her city life for the comfort of Crimson Ridge, not expecting she'll be faced with a surprisingly sexy man from her past. I'm not supposed to feel this way. I never wanted to disappear more than while I was around my family. Briar Lane, the girl useful for one thing, my last name. A business handshake and a pawn to be traded. My father's chess piece shuffled between empires. That was my life back in LA. And all it took was finding the dirty secret stuffed in a jacket pocket and my entire world unraveled. I fled to the one place I knew they could never find me. Crimson Ridge. Sounds pretty good. Taboo romance. Excited to have this on the list. Let's go over the books that I have on my June TBR. On my audiobook TBR, we have a library pick, which I chose Don't Marry Him by Jay Sterling. Then a series pick, and that is Untamed by S.C. Stevens. Read Across America book, we spun West Virginia, and that book is Shiner. Then the final is The Sun is Also a Star. For the physical / Kindle books, we got Wait For It by Mariana Zapata, My Antihero by Tejan, Bristol Kids by Mary A. Pearson, then The Body Farm by Patricia Cornwell, Once Upon a Demon's Heart by K.M. Moranova, and finally, Braving the Storm by Elliot Rose. Those are the books that we spun for my June TBR. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned in the month of June for a summer reading vlog and some other fun bookish content. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.